Welcome to Your First Launch with Alex Poscente
and Dave Schatz. Welcome to Your First Launch.
In-person edition.
Alex and Dave, your favorite hosts. How's it going, everybody?
We know we've been on a little bit of a hiatus.
A little bit.
It's not something we're proud of. Yeah, what's new in the world of Titan?
We have hired some new engineers. That's really exciting. We're pushing product forward on a few different fronts. We are beefing out our internal advisor portal. We are completely rewriting the mobile app from the ground up, which is really exciting. And we have a ton of infrastructure changes in flight. I say all this because it's really impressive for a team of 6 to be able to make that much progress on all these different surfaces. And so, especially with the code bases that have existed here and how difficult some of them are to work with.
Yeah.
And so I'm really proud of the work we're doing. We'll have something really exciting to share by end of year. Tell me about you. What's going on in your world? And Alex is now in New York.
Yes.
So we're both in New York.
Been living in Chelsea. Super fun. Also, we promised an Easter egg to some of his development team. So comment below if you guys think the moon landing is real. We have one of the developers of Titan.
Who is skeptical. We'll say is skeptical.
And I'm curious what your thoughts are. So no wrong answers.
Share thoughts below.
Yeah, and maybe to that one specific developer I'm talking about, if you could provide some rationale, some supporting documents.
You should comment below.
Yeah, you really should. This part is for you. Okay, so the things happening in my world that I'm really excited about. I have, in the past couple of months, started working with this really big investor in the CPG space who he IPO'd multiple companies, absolutely crushed it, and saw a lot of the dinners that I've been doing and events around the world. I bring together investors and founders and influencers. My whole thing is like bringing together really interesting people who are all building, cool brands or companies or portfolios. And he saw that and was basically like, wait, Alex, can you deploy some of my capital for me? So
hell yeah.
I now have
awesome.
I wouldn't call it a fund, but a little a stack of play money.
Cool.
So,
scout fund?
A little scout fund, more or less.
Cool.
Which is really fun to be investing in my friend's technology. So any people listening to, if you have interesting deals, I am actively reviewing.
Hit her up.
So hit me up.
Comment section.
Moon landing or deal flow. And then the other thing I'm really excited about is for Ivy Insights. The main goal was for end of the year to have 5 totally different influencer apps, all representing different segments. So I wanted to have one entertainment, one fitness, one food, one education, one dealer's choice. Anyway, the whole point is by the end of the year, the goal is to have 5 apps that are being built to go into production by 2026. And I am so close to locking in those 5.
Nice.
So yeah, we're well on our way. But I'd say those are the 2 most exciting updates.
Can you share any interesting insights from deploying capital and meeting founders, and whether it's challenges or interesting perspective that you've gathered throughout this process so far, what you're learning about app development through building these products that you're working on?
I'd say that what I'm encountering right now with deploying capital, it's really just a waiting game. I don't want to be too hungry for certain deals, honestly. I'd rather just see friends of mine that I really love working with and I think are super bright and capable and deploy into those. So I think that's the main thing, is just patience for the right deals. It's a virtue that I'm working on very actively. On the app development side, it's really interesting. What I found is, people have such distinct voice when it comes to style. And what feels good for user experience. And I think working with creators who have built, massive brands, they know marketing, they know what's going to resonate with general consumers, is totally different from working with people in tech, because they don't think about verbiage on the titles or certain onboarding screens. So I'd say that's the most interesting part of app development right now, is working with these influencers who have tens of millions of followers, and they are super sensitive to every part of the brand. And you can tell that that's their genius. Yeah.
I love that. That's so much. It's got to be so interesting working with them, especially because, to your point, they have been A/B testing every piece of their content, whether it be the titles of the clips, the preview frames they use in YouTube, to different hooks or whatever they use to open their videos, ways that they craft their stories, They know what resonates with their audience. It's got to be fascinating.
So I'd say the general theme, and again, this is leaning into the fact that the future of tech in my brain is community driven, it's creator driven. The way that they approach is like the less information, the better. It's in the same way that Apple, whenever you get a new iPhone, it's almost addictive, right? You see a few words, it's like, welcome, Dave. And it's like, open here, right? They have the same intuition of removing as much information as possible.
Cool.
Where I think a lot of people in the tech world add way more than is necessary and complicate it. They are super, super strong at boiling it down to the basics. You've obviously built and deployed a ton of different mobile apps. What is different about this experience of taking an app that's already been live for years? There are thousands of users, and you're kind of completely like reconstructing it and deploying it. What's been your biggest learning?
For us, the challenge is less on the mobile app. The mobile app needs a ton of work. The reason we're rewriting it is because the existing app, while it works, there's a lot left to be desired. I think it looks pretty. It's like well designed. That said, there are a ton of performance issues. There are memory leaks all throughout. You leave this app open long enough, it's going to crash on your phone. So it's just not performant, and it wasn't built with best practices. And there's so many things that can be done better. And then, it just takes too long to get to where you want. If you try and invest money in Titan through our current app, you'd have to tap like 7 different buttons before you can even start investing your money. And so if you think about the use case of, I love the flagship fund, I want to put a little bit more money in it today, to take 7 different taps to do that, when that should just be a few taps or something so simple, probably one of the more common use cases. It should be optimized. And so think about the user flow, think of the user journey. The mobile app is one thing. For us, it's the back end of it. So it's our trading systems, it's the code base that powers the mobile app. There's a lot that can be improved that will improve our lives, both with the new app that we're developing, and then in terms of system maintenance and performance on both sides. So I'll leave it there.
In the past few months, making those back-end technical changes, haven't you been able to like multiply revenue generated from those infrastructure changes?
I'd love to say it was just us. I think it's a combination of the work that we're doing, and we've hired some more great advisors, wealth managers, who are doing an incredible job. And so I look at our product as the product Titan sells is RIA, or wealth management. And so we succeed when our clients succeed. So as long as we can deliver valuable advice, deliver wins, and that's measured by client retention. So how long do clients stay with us? How much more money do clients continue to invest because they trust us, they have confidence, they see good returns? How that manifests is in 2 forms. One is through conversations with our advisors, and through interactions with the technical product, which is the mobile app or our website.
What has been one of the best investments that those advisors has made? For people listening, they're like, oh, maybe you should put money into Titan.
So I'll also say none of this is investment advice. None of this is Titan. All of this, everything I'm saying is just my own personal opinion. Nothing associated with Titan. There was a situation where I found this really fascinating. There was a gentleman who recently went back to college or back to school for his MBA. So he'd been working for a number of years, had been putting money away in a 401k. Talked to one of our advisors and was like, hey, I won't be making money for the next 2 years. I'm getting my MBA. Help me just like plan my life for the next couple of years. And here's my entire situation. Here's what we have. And this advisor looked into his situation and identified that for the next 2 years, he'll be in the lowest tax bracket he'll ever be in for the rest of his life. He's making $0. Because of that, there are opportunities that he can take advantage of that he wouldn't be able to otherwise. So for example, he made the recommendation to convert his 401k into an IRA, a traditional IRA, which is a taxable event because you're going from pre-tax dollars to post-tax dollars. So 401k, pre-tax dollars in, post-tax coming out. Traditional IRA, post-tax dollars in, non-taxable coming out. By doing this transformation, you are copping the tax hit now, but because his tax bracket is so low,
he didn't have to pay.
He doesn't really feel it at all. But it's going to save him hundreds of thousands of dollars, or make him hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of the next 20 years. So pretty amazing move that I never would have thought of on my own. I don't think he would have thought of it on his own. But that's one of the benefits of having an advisor. So I thought that was a cool scenario.
It kind of makes me want to open an account with Titan. I don't know about you guys. Now that we've updated on where we're at in life, some of our business, goals by end of year, I want to talk about how we structure our day-to-day. Can you run me through what your day is like. Do you have time blocks? Do you deep work? Speak to the people in terms of how you structure it in your life.
Sure. My days,
Mhm.
I start out waking up around 6:30 and I go to the gym
Every single day.
every as many days as I can, almost every day, which is my only me time at all because the rest of my day is spent at Titan.
Mhm.
Intense day. I'm either in meetings, interviewing, or trying to get deep in code so I can contribute as well. There's a lot of coordination effort that goes between managing my team or managing the working with the other teams
Mhm.
within Titan. Days are really intense. Days go really long, and then I go home,
Wait,
eat some dinner,
pause.
go to sleep.
Do you have certain days where you take meetings, certain days where you don't? Do you have like any theme to the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
We're aggressively hiring, so I'm interviewing a ton, and
Yeah.
so I can't I don't want to block off any days because I don't want to miss out on potentially good candidates. Days are intense. I'm exhausted. My weekdays are just work, and
Yeah.
then weekends are the fun.
So after the workday, when do you go home?
Probably around like 8:39.
Do you cook for yourself ever?
Not lately. No, I'll try
Yeah.
and pick up something really healthy like a sweet green
Mhm.
or like dig on the
Harvest
way
Bowl
home.
from Sweet Green?
I make my own.
You make your own?
Yeah.
He's an innovator. The reason why I think this is relevant is a lot of people look at my life and yours too, and maybe it seems like we work really hard, play really hard,
Hmm.
and a lot of people don't know how to strike that balance.
Mm.
Or maybe it just seems more elusive, and so I think actually tactically breaking it down is kind of interesting to share.
If I can share a bit more,
Please.
I think for me personally, and this works for me, and I don't know if it works for other people, but for me, I tend to overwhelm myself in everything. I'll overwhelm myself with work because I thrive in,
Mm.
I just love work so much. And then I overwhelm myself with my social calendar because I need that sort of stimulation because I'm extroverted.
Mhm.
And so I'm overwhelmed constantly in life, but I thrive in that sort of environment. And I have you know me, seemingly like endless energy somehow.
Mhm.
So it's kind of a unique quality that I'm taking advantage of in myself that I really benefit from. And I think the thing to pay attention to here is like, um, you look at how much fun we have when we're having fun, and it's great. And it's great that we're able to be present in those moments. Put work aside. When we're in work, we're in work mode and we're present at work. When we're in our social lives, we're present in our social lives and we're
100%.
enjoying.
Yeah.
And um, and then I think when you look at how to achieve this, it's look at the inputs that people are putting in. Look at the inputs that you're putting in that I want to hear about after
Mhm.
this. Look at the inputs that I'm putting in. Match the inputs and you'll get the outputs. I think looking at the outputs, looking at what people have and wondering like I wonder how do I get that? I think in order to get those things, pay attention to the inputs. So for anyone you're impressed by, anyone you're seeing and you're like, wow, I wonder how they got there, dig a little deeper and find out what they're doing day to day because that's what allows them to achieve those things, I think.
Love that.
Tell me about how you live your life. Tell me about your weekdays, your weeknights.
Okay.
Tell me about your weekends.
Yep.
And how do you plan time for yourself as
Mhm.
well? Because I know you work a lot.
Mhm. Okay, so typical day for me, I usually wake up, it depends, 8:39.
Mm.
I am more of a like wake up 30 minutes before the meeting.
Mm.
I like, you know what I mean? It's like I wake up and I go straight into the day. I'll work out every single afternoon after I've done like 4 or 5 hours of meetings, deep work, whatever. Late afternoon workout. I hate working out in the morning. I hate working out at night, but I work out like 5 days a week minimum. Um, to me, that's also like where I do a lot of my strategic work and high level planning,
Mm-hmm.
thinking about, what exactly I need to do. A lot of the times this is psycho, but I won't listen to music when I work out. I'll literally just be thinking. I love doing workout classes because I'm inherently the most competitive person you've ever met.
Well, she really is. She 100% is.
I also don't cook my meals, which I think is really interesting for breakfast, lunch. I think it's like kind of a waste of time. Meal prep, I used to do sometimes, but like rarely ever. It's usually just whatever's convenient. After gym, I'll go and do the rest of deep work. So most of my meetings are stacked like morning to afternoon.
Mm.
And then I'll do deep work after workout. Every single night I have a social activity, and it's not
Mm.
necessarily drinking, but it has to be something that takes me away from my computer and in front of a human being because
Love this.
otherwise I think I would go crazy. I would like absolutely go crazy.
Do you work from home? Do you work in like a WeWork? Where do you work?
I have an office. There's like a co-working space that I work out of.
Cool.
I have a home office, and then I'll work in like public spaces, like hotels, coffee shops, if I want to switch it up.
I love that. I was asking because sometimes you're working from home all day. You just need some social interaction and
100%.
like getting out of the house, forcing yourself out of the house.
Exactly. And that's a lot of like me even going to the gym too. I have to do that. I'm very similar in terms of I have to have a stacked calendar to be most productive. Otherwise, I just know myself, I'll put things off. So having a forcing function of I know I'm going to go to the gym for a certain amount of time. I know I'm going to be with people. Like I have to get certain things done. At the beginning of every single week, Monday, I'll set aside a solid 30 minutes of high level strategic ops of, okay, what needs to be accomplished by end of week? What do I need to do today to make the rest of it possible? Every morning I have a to-do list that's quite thorough. So like last night I went to bed at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
not really, but I had to finish like all the things
Yeah, I
to
love
complete
that.
like the Friday to get to
Dedication.
Friday. Yeah, I'm like incredibly ops minded in terms of I know what needs to be done to get to that point.
I love that. Similar to that process, on the engineering team, we will Mondays have our weekly sync meeting where it'll be a brief retrospective on how the last week went. What went well, what didn't go well, what can we learn from last week? You know, what could we have done better? And then how do we plan for this upcoming week? And then we'll have daily stand-ups where we just keep each other accountable and like make sure that we're making progress. And if anyone's blocked, how do we unblock each other? And so it's like the team version of what you hold yourself to
Yeah.
on a weekly basis. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is
totally.
great.
And the other thing is, you know, like I manage Ivy Insights, which is the app studio with influencers. I have this little baby fund that I'm investing out of. I help raise capital for funds and I advise startups on the side. So there's so much that has to go into, for me, there has to be time spent strategically planning the week. Otherwise, plates will fall. You know what I mean? You can't juggle
With
everything at once without being super intentional.
with that many things competing for your attention, how are you prioritizing your time?
Really good question. Um, okay, so I have this practice of it's almost a chart, and I force rank all of the things on different indices of it'll be ROI, impact, joy, zone of genius, like basically all these different ways that I can force rank my different priorities for the week in terms of the output that it will have on my life and what's important to me. And depending on how that rank goes is how I prioritize things at the top of the week.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
I love that you're so intentional about that.
You have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be. It's really fun to be more systematic about how you approach spending your time. Because you just see it pay off immediately.
And time evaporates if you're not paying attention.
100%, 100%. My calendar, I wonder if you're the same, is like blocked every single day. There's like something happening. There are meetings, focus work. Is it the same for you?
I try and leave time open, but that time gets easily captured. And so I will block off blocks of engineering work time that I need to be like heads down focused because there is time that I need to spend just focused, uninterrupted. And if I don't block those out of my calendar will get filled up for me.
Last question and more of the social space, but how do you pick your friends? And maybe the people you date? Like, what is the thing that you look for?
I think the most important quality to me is integrity. And I think integrity manifests itself in different ways, and you can sense that in different ways. I think about who my closest friends are and who the people I date are, and integrity, I think, plays a big role. If I need support from a friend, if I have a friend of integrity, it's important to that person to make sure that they're giving me the advice that's in my best interest and is a good friend back to me. I'm a good friend of my friends, but knowing that like the people I do things with aren't trying to like get something out of me or take something out of me. Like they're all, we're all kind of friends. We care about each other.
Yeah, it's not fake. It's not transactional.
Okay, tell me about yours.
Okay, so I feel so blessed to have like the best family in the world and the best friends. Like I love my friends, and you know this because you are one of these people, but like I love my friends and family so much that I feel like whenever I have new friends come into my life, we're like meeting new potential partners or whatever, there's such a high bar. And I think the thing I look for is do I leave the experience feeling more energized and happier and like they see me and like love it. You can tell. You can tell when you enter a room and someone adores you or like accepts you.
Do you find that women tend to be more competitive with each other? Because with my friends, I don't feel too much competition. I feel a lot of either support or indifference. Like we're all just like kind of hanging out and like everything's kind of easy. But I wonder sometimes how much of female friendships is has this underlying competitive aspect to it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's so annoying because I wish it weren't this way, but I definitely sense that more. Like, I've had, founder friends of mine who are women, and I think it's maybe like the mentality of maybe they don't think there are enough seats at the table or just projecting their own insecurities.
Can I jump in?
Mhm.
So my aunt, she is a now VP at Morgan Stanley.
Yeah.
She's been in finance her whole life, so woman in a male-dominated field.
Hmm.
She's told me stories about how growing up and coming up in that industry, being one of very few women, one thing that was very difficult for her was that the women ahead of her would kind of close the door behind them and would not help her or help other women up because they were like, I'm lucky enough to be in this seat and I don't want to jeopardize it. I'm not going to help you. You need to earn it too.
Mm.
And so it's been important to her to help other women
Yeah.
come up. And so I don't know how that dynamic, if any of that, if you can relate to any of that or have felt any of that, or kind of how that lands for you or when you
Yeah.
see it today.
So, context, my grandmother is an incredible entrepreneur. My mom is also a super savvy operator, founder,
Mom's a
investor, total badass. Love Michelle.
badass.
My great great aunt entrepreneur, like my great great grandmother was an entrepreneur. Like so many of the women in my family are total badasses. And they paved their own way and they've done it forever. So growing up, I had no idea that it would be so competitive or that there would be this air of judgment. It doesn't feel so much like closing the door because when you're a founder, everyone is starting from ground zero. It's more like invalidating what you've done in the past, is what I've seen more so, or trying to belittle, right, in front of other founder spaces. And I remember there's this one girl that I went to college with, and I had heard her saying something about, a business that I was like starting, and it was a startup, so like whatever. It was a young company, and it was just an idea, but that's the whole point of when you start a new thing. And I'd heard that she had been saying some stuff to other guy friends of mine, like entrepreneur friends. All of us were founders ourselves. And meanwhile, I had pulled her into, speaking engagements and highlighted her in classes and, whatever she was working on. After I heard this, I was super offended because I was like, why would you try to belittle something that you don't even know about, right? And it comes from a place that like I wasn't familiar with, but I pulled her aside and I was like, hey, you know what? All love, because I have super strong self-esteem and I'm confident in what I'm doing and I'm just experimenting, so it's fine. But when you belittle me, you also lose. Like it's not
It doesn't look good. It's not a good look.
it's also
So
just like if we're like if female founders are a minority of like the entrepreneurial ecosystem, you should be actively uplifting and trying to include all those people in everything that you do. Yeah, so I like pulled her aside and I was like, you know what? It's all good. Obviously she was like, I never said it, but I was like, okay, whatever. Um, but I was like, it's all good. I'm not offended, but just like try to make that stop now and stop here because we're in college and you're gonna have the rest of your life. And like both of us doing this thing is net amazing. And like when the tide rises, all ships rise. There's no point in sinking mine.
So, first of all, so proud of you for having that conversation. It's a difficult conversation to have. It's a scary conversation to have. And also, it sounds like hopefully she took it well. I know that you deliver this well, but I think some people can take
Yeah.
that poorly no matter how you deliver it. But incredible on you. Had you had difficult conversations like that before? What have prepared you for that? And like how, just because I don't know that everybody would have made that same decision. I think it is such a helpful, healthy, and great decision to make to address that head on. So to give people confidence to make that same decision or be able to address these things in the future, like what advice would you have?
So I believe that people are good deep down and they're doing the thing that they think is in their best interest or in the general, world's best interest. But I don't think people are inherently bad. I don't think that this person that said this thing is a bad person. I think it was a moment of weakness in terms of ego. And so to me, I think I can decouple people's intentions with their actual person and just I didn't take it personally. I was like, this is not an attack on me. It's not an attack on this company I'm trying to start. It's whatever. It's like this person's insecurities overshadowing everything that everyone else is doing, and like that won't help you. So if anything, it was more me just pulling her aside and being like, hey, you're gonna crush it. And I think she's great. Like I saw her relatively recently and it was all love. It was totally fine. And I think that, yeah, I think it just comes from a place of like my parents were super confrontational with us when we were kids. If we like messed up, they'd be like, hey, you did this thing, this is why it was wrong and what are you going to do differently. Like I've always been incredibly solution oriented, kind of like put your ego at the door and just take the feedback. Yeah, I think it comes down to being able to compartmentalize your ego from your values. And to me, I think honesty is really important. And I think that I just don't, I just can't be fake either. If something's bothering me, then like I'm very confrontational. So I'd rather like move forward and not have conflict or beef with someone, and so just be like upfront about it.
I think the nice thing that I'm taking away from this is confrontation doesn't mean aggression.
Yeah.
Confrontation means confronting and addressing the situation in a healthy and positive way. And doesn't mean to be confrontational means you need to attack someone, you need to be aggressive, you need to do something. It's so yeah, I'm awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And the other thing I'll say too is I have incredible female founder friends as well, who I'm super tight with. They're amazing and they're building the future. So it's not all like that, but I do encourage founders from every background to just like support entrepreneurs doing the thing, because it's hard.
If there's anyone who supports founders, I think you are the poster child of this, with the dinners that you host and the events that you throw and the work that you do for the community. So
it's also just, you know, we're all playing Monopoly. It's nothing. It's not that deep. It's literally not that deep. You know. So I think when people take it too seriously, it's like, okay, we're just supposed to have fun here. Make money. Okay, y'all. We need to go to dinner. And anything else you want to say?
No, I think this is a wrap. It's been great talking to y'all. It's been great talking to you. Always. It's so good to have you in the city. I'm so happy we're hanging out. We will see you all next week. We're back on schedule. So
welcome to Your First Launch with Alex Poscente
and Dave Schatz.